Good afternoon, I'm Marina, and this is my 10-year-old daughter, Aisha. 3 years ago, my daughter was electrocuted in the school cafeteria. We are fighting for her life. In 2017, we came to Kiev and started first grade. It was my birthday. We were walking to school, singing songs, and the children were congratulating me on my birthday. I promised them that I would pick them up early, in 4 hours. So, after I dropped them off and came home, I started getting ready to go to work, but I didn't go. An hour later, the teacher called me back. She calmly told me, "Come, Aish is not feeling well." Well, I can see the school from my windows. I saw an ambulance. Maybe she fell, maybe she got hurt since the ambulance came, but it wasn't what I saw there. My teacher picked me up at the entrance. I ran there and she picked me up at the entrance. And on the way to the cafeteria, she was calming me down. "Just don't worry," she said. I ran to the cafeteria and that's where I saw it. On the table. There were already 2 ambulances working. One was a resuscitation vehicle and the other was a regular ambulance. And I saw Aisha, she was just lying on the table, cold. Cold, her eyes were filled with blood, lifeless. The doctors were resuscitating her. They took me aside. They brought some sedatives, gave them to me, but I didn't know what had happened. I was there, I don't know, and my heart stayed there. I'm still there. I died there with her, you understand? Well, I asked, "Why is it like that?" They started just asking me questions. Maybe she has some illnesses, any congenital conditions, how was she born? I already answered, "We have nothing like that. We went to school, passed 2 checkups and commissions, everything was fine." And then the children, the older students who were there, they came up to me and said she was electrocuted by the desk. Like in a cafe, we have tables with heating. It's a table where the food is constantly kept hot, and the handrails. The children said she grabbed the handrail with her right hand but couldn't react. Aisha, when all this happened, was taken to the back room. The cafeteria worker was selling a bun. We don't know what they were doing in the back room, but when people talked, someone somewhere briefly saw how they revived her with ammonia, so they thought she had just fainted, not that her heart had stopped. So an ambulance arrived somehow, and that's it. The teacher didn't say anything to me except, "I'm not guilty, not before God or the child." The child asked to go to the cafeteria. Aisha had clinical death for 24 minutes. This is officially documented. So if they hadn't revived her, I would have died right there too, even though I have another child. Well, for me, the 2 of them are one whole. I just left a part of myself in that cafeteria. Everything good and bright that I had, I guess it all left me there. At 24 minutes, we arrived at the hospital at the intensive care unit. Well, I was with Aisha, they just took her away. It turned out she had another cardiac arrest in the car. There was another arrest in the intensive care unit. I remember they gave me a drink. I just cried and sat there the whole time. And they didn't let us into the intensive care unit. Journalists came. They wrote down sudden infant death syndrome for us. It turned out to be 3 degrees of coma. We went from the 3rd to the 2nd, then to the 1st. It took 16 days to move through them. On the 12th day, these spots appeared on our right hand because she is a mulatto. That's why they appeared when it was like clotted blood under the skin. And these are the most affected fingers. They're just covered in spots. They went in, and then it reached the heart. When we were discharged from the intensive care unit, we were transferred to neurology there, of course. Well, we were just lying there. She couldn't sit up. She was like a log, just lying there like a piece of wood. I mean, I couldn't bend or straighten her at all. And she was moaning all the time, moaning, screaming, crying, and something hurt somewhere. I couldn't understand where it was. Children came to visit us in the hospital. Parents came, and the teacher, Aishina, also came, just once. Now the children don't come. First of all, I didn't let anyone in at first. Well, she was in a condition where people shouldn't see her. She would have only scared the children, you understand. Do I need a child to suffer psychological trauma? That would have become my problem later. She had organ issues and a prolonged fever. She just lay there, and when I asked the doctor something, my exhausted mind couldn't function. I was just done. I said, "Take my brain." He said, "Her organs are failing. Here, take my organs." Everything was shutting down in her. They didn't know what to do with him, and my brain was failing. The prognosis was that I'd be a vegetable. They said, "She's a vegetable." That's what they told me. "She's a vegetable." I said, "She's not a vegetable. She's my little flower, my little flower." The doctor told us it could be. That's how it is. We always have to be ready for the fact that it might turn on or it might not. That's what he says. My dad and I are divorced, but we have a normal family. The adults separating shouldn't impact the kids. Those are issues for the adults. When this happened to Aisha, he came to the intensive care unit right away. I told him, but he didn't understand. His Russian is poor since he's Arab and from Sudan. He said if this had happened back home, well, they wouldn't have tried to save her anymore. They have slightly different laws there, their own rules. He helped me a lot in the intensive care unit while I was working. Plus Nora, he was working too, but he worked during the day while I worked at night. He was bleeding from his ears, nose, and eyes. His blood pressure would get so high. In short, instead of saving her, they ended up saving him. When we were discharged and sent home, he stayed with us for a while. He helps me whenever he can. People ask me, who do you think is to blame? And I don't know who I think is to blame. The group responsible for the school is to blame. Someone is in charge of our school, right? You assigned that inspection, didn't you? So please take responsibility for them yourself. Now you answer for them. I lived for 2 years with people blaming me. They blame me for giving birth to a sick child because Aisha was born at 7 months. We had an open oval window. This is not a pathology. Many premature babies have it, even full-term babies, but it closes over time. We constantly went through a lot of examinations, and I was always worried about it. Then, when it was already proven that I was innocent, they started accusing me of doing something to her. She got shocked by electricity somewhere at home. And then I quickly took her to school. You know what kind of things people say? And in the end, after 2 years of forensic examinations, in February 2020, we received the results. And the examination confirmed that the child was absolutely healthy at the time of the tragedy. They didn't accept my statement at the police. They accepted it not from me, but from journalists. They told me, well, it's an accident, we can't do anything. When all this happened with the police, I was told that there was another boy, a high school student, who was also electrocuted, but he managed to pull his hand away in time. His hand just went numb. He is a witness in the case. I was looking for the case. I found it. It's at the second examination. I don't know how long it will be there. For example, Noura didn't know what happened to Aisha. Noura thought that some girl at school got poisoned. That's what they told us in class. We were discharged and sent home for rehabilitation. We, me, my mom, who had no idea what it was. I had never dealt with this before. We started looking for rehabilitation and we found it ourselves. We went there every other day and she was wasting away. I could see it that she was wasting away. She kept getting thinner and thinner. So I asked the rehabilitation specialist and she told me, if you stop coming, you're killing your child with your own hands. And I kept going. I was like blind. I didn't understand anything at all. And after that rehabilitation, we ended up back in the intensive care unit and she had another cardiac arrest. We weren't supposed to do that. That kind of strain. We were visiting a center for kids with cerebral palsy, but she doesn't have it. Now it's been explained to me. Now I understand that we can't just go anywhere, wherever others go, based on advice. Now I don't just look for any kind of rehabilitation just anywhere. I'll check 100 times, double check 200 times, and ask again. And even if we go, I watch the first session. If they start to break her, that's it. This is not our option. That's why I work with her myself. I'm being taught. I found rehabilitation specialists on the internet who explain things to me online. Aisha understands everything, fights and protests about eating. If she wants to eat, of course, she will chew and swallow by herself. She does that perfectly, but if she doesn't want to eat something, and then it's like a war here. Everything gets eaten, the walls, the ceiling, everything except Aisha, right? She loves and understands jokes. We love music. Well, we're musical by nature. We're always with music. Our whole life is with music. Songs, dancing, that's all ours. Completely independently, no help at all. Leaving her alone isn't possible. She can likely only lie down by herself. Let me pick you up. Is that okay? Please don't cry. See, this is a protest. Pick me up. Come on, let's protest a bit more. Show your bold character. This is a protest. She was just sitting and playing. Everything was normal. She says mama in her sleep, only when she's sleeping, and sometimes she cries. In her sleep, I don't know, maybe she's dreaming about something, or I don't know why it's like that. She calls for her mom and she cries a lot. After that, I can't calm her down. We have these kinds of tantrums sometimes. Before, there was howling. She didn't sleep at all. That was probably the first year. It was terrible, just terrible. I didn't know how to handle it. Even now, I don't know how we managed to get through it all. Getting through that year, like that was the first thing. She would only sleep when I sat across from her and put her legs over my shoulders, and in that position her legs would just hang on me like that. That's the only way she would sleep. So I couldn't sleep at all because if I left, she wouldn't sleep. Nura helps me a lot with her. Well, Nura doesn't understand what's going on. She just sees it all. She asks, Mom, why? Why? I don't understand either. How can I explain it to her? I say Nura for now, that's how it is. The difference is exactly a year and a half. The first was the separation, Aisha and Nura. That was the hospital. No, I don't work. When the quarantine started, that was it. My job closed. For me, I had the financial cushion, but, time goes by, and we spent 1,200,000 in 2 years. 1,200,000, that's officially calculated. Receipts that have already gone to court. And Spain, when they looked at us, they said, yes, this is not the worst thing you can imagine. We have even worse cases. The clinic, they gave us a prescription. So I talked to them and they asked me for photos and videos of Aishina. I sent them. They said, you only need a little bit. I sent them a video of our home practice. And the doctor tells me, she can do everything. She just needs a push. She needs brain stimulation. I start her up manually. Yes, the brain needs to be activated. It needs to be done here. This is all done with medication. No one here does that. They handed us the bill and said, go ahead, we're waiting. 17,545 euros for a month of rehab. They told us a month, she will walk out on her own. Well, guarantees are just that. Words are just words. We'll go there for a month and we'll check here afterwards. Whatever happens, happens, Because I can't just sit and do nothing anymore either. I tried to get help from the government and I was running around. These courts, all of that. Well, nothing. In 3 years, I lost absolutely everything. I lost myself. All I have left, yes, is just this physical strength. My health is gone. I have a lot of problems. I miss it. I miss the drive. I don't have enough of it. I never lived. Well, now I call it living in prison. This is what life in prison feels like to me. You're tied to one place. You can't do anything, absolutely nothing. I can't stay locked up. I've been locked up for 3 years. Real music saves me. I go outside, I put on headphones and turn them up as loud as possible. And I just walk down the street crying. I miss that rest. I don't rest. The taste of life is lost. And for them, for the kids, is this a normal life? Well, she will come back. She will come back. Being the mother of a child whose life is divided into before and after is boundless love.